is good, y'all? And welcome back to Chris and Ralph Productions. As always, I am Chris, and happy Valentine's Days to you all. So, today is Valentine's Day, and today is also the official casting and the announcement for the MCU's Fantastic Four. So, this happened early in the morning. When I say early in the morning, I think it was like 9 o'clock. I was already working and stuff, and I was like, let me take a look at my phone. First thing I see on my feed is the official not poster, but the official artwork and the announcement of this cast. So, about 6 months ago, yeah, 6 months ago, I actually did a video where I discussed the possible casting choices as well as the possible setting for this movie, who could pop up, some villains, some potential actors and actresses, and all that good stuff. And at the time, there was already some rumors going around, some strong rumors from some credible, people online who have a history of getting things right, from their sources. Obviously, I'm not connected. I wish I was, but so today I just actually wanted to get into my thoughts on the casting, what I think the vibes are going to be like, just based off of the artwork and some other potential plot points that have been, what social media has found just off of this post. So first off, I want to get into the actual artwork announcement. So obviously it says Happy Valentine's Day, and we see, Pedro Pascal as Reed, Vanessa Kirby as Sue. We see Joseph Quinn as Johnny, and then we see Ebon Mosk as the Thing. And just off the rip, you can tell just by the logo at the bottom, which I'll show bigger in a little bit, that this is going to be straight up 1960s. Like I mentioned 6 months ago, I was like in my head, I was like, what if they just did the 1960s? Because this is, Marvel's first family. They were created in the early 60s, and they just have space race. They get their powers in space. They are astronauts, and in the 60s was a space race, of course. And the 60s in general was just a very pivotal decade for this country, and a lot happened: civil rights, and then we had the Vietnam War. We had JFK's assassination, MLK's assassination, RFK's assassination, Malcolm X's assassination. There's just so much that happened in the 1960s. And, to have this Marvel's first family, to have them be told on the big screen, and this, the MCU version, I really think they're going to do a wonderful job handling the times, handling the aesthetic, and just handling, I think, these characters in general. So I wanted to take a closer look. So if you see right here, you take a look at Pedro Pascal and Vanessa Kirby, Sue and Reed. Look at their suits. This is, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say this is what the Fantastic Four suits are going to look like. It looks like sweaters, kind of like polyester cotton type of material, sort of like what spacesuits are made out of different material, of course, but they look like they can be, the sweatsuits that you wear when you go into a spacesuit. And Vanessa Kirby, obviously, she has the iconic, white collar right here, the white, like, little neck turtle thing, their boots, and then he has the white belt. The logo's white, and if you see behind me, actually, I have the Marvel Legends line that they did. Oh, it was about what, a year or two ago, a couple of years ago, a few years ago, and she has the white turtleneck and the white belt. Reed, I have him in his lab coat, and then you have Johnny and the Thing right there. And I just absolutely love this. Actually, what I was going to get into this later on, but I might as well do it because I'm talking about the suits. Someone on Twitter actually did their own version of Pedro Pascal as Reed Richards. This is obviously the outline, and the pose is from John Krasinski's Reed Richard in Multiverse of Madness. And this person, whoever did this artwork, did an amazing job because it just gets, I guess, it blows up the image of what Pedro Pascal what he's gonna look like as Reed Richards. And I think, um I love it. I can't wait till the Marvel Legends. That's what I'm excited for as well, for those Marvel Legends to drop. But let's go further into this image. We see what was that? Okay, want to make sure. And you see Joseph Quinn as Johnny Storm. He's wearing more of like, I don't know if these are jeans or more so like slacks. He's wearing the collared shirt and he has his hair parted a little bit. And Joseph Quinn, I think he's gonna do an amazing job as Johnny Storm because he has that charisma. He has like that youthful spirit at the same time that can be sort of ignorant to things and arrogant at times, and also just a badass. And I think Joseph Quinn he can really translate that. Obviously, Joseph Quinn, his biggest role was Eddie Munson in Stranger Things. So let's go ahead and move on to the Thing, which is gonna be played by Ebon Mosk. Right here, they have him in the back in his spacesuit. I just realized I've been looking at this image like 30, 40 times today. There's a 4 on the space helmet. Very interesting. Right here, obviously, we have the Thing himself. Let me back it up so you can see his face, and then the Thing wearing a looks like a varsity type of jacket. You can see it by the collar, yeah, collar wrists, whatever the hell. This one looks like he's wearing jeans for sure. And we have Herbie the robot, confirmed from Fantastic Four, serving him a hot cup of Joe. And I just think they look incredible. So right here is another focal point. This magazine. Immediately, I was like, okay, that's a Life magazine. Or that's not Life. Yeah, Life. Yeah. And I was like, okay, so in the 1960s, obviously, well, these magazines have been giant for decades, but I had a lot of amazing covers that have happened in the 60s. And someone pointed out, someone online was actually able to. So Fantastic Four might be set in 1963, judging by the Ben Grimm's reading. So this magazine is actually a copy of, hold the wrong one, this LBJ in December 13th of 1963, only 25 cents for an issue. And so this is the LBJ whenever he became president after the JFK assassination. And obviously this further led on to Vietnam and other events. But I think this pretty much sort of confirms that this is going to take place in 1963, that it's going to take place and it's going to be a period piece. And who knows how they're going to be brought into our current MCU timeline, which, if I'm not mistaken, right now, our time is 2024. I think they are, they're 5 years ahead. So it's what, 2029 in our current MCU timeline, if I'm not mistaken. No. Yeah, 2029. Um, so we'll see how they'll do that. If it's going to be sort of like a multiverse type of thing where they're in a different, universe, or it's going to be straight up time travel. We shall see. But like I mentioned, Herbie right here. This is just a better image of him. There we go. Herbie, Fantastic Four. I could have done that myself. I don't know why I have this whole post. And then this is just an article by Variety, basically stating what I've been talking about right now is it could be fresh start Marvel's needs because the MCU, the Marvels was not a box office success. It did struggle immensely. We actually did watch that the other day when it came out on Disney Plus. It's a Marvel movie. It's nothing special. It's not one of my favorites. And it did bomb. I'm not harping on anything. I'm not getting into because this is the reason. It just didn't do good. So hopefully, we have Deadpool coming out, which we did our trailer reaction. It's up on the channel if you want to give that a watch. So hopefully, I would assume that Fantastic Four is going to be amazing. It's going to be directed by Matt Shackman. Matt Shackman actually did WandaVision, and if you've watched WandaVision, then you know that he devils deeply into the mid-century aesthetic. In episode one is like 1950s, of course. Episode two and three is the 60s and 70s, and then goes into the 80s and 90s later on. But he can capture that aesthetic. He can capture that feel. And I think obviously, if you're gonna do the Fantastic Four, I think that's the perfect setting for them to be in. And what's one of the last things I really wanted to talk about? Right here. So this art, like I mentioned, the announcement was earlier this morning, and I think this is just beautiful. A beautiful logo, a beautiful just I think aesthetic that they're really gonna go for. And I guess the last thing I wanted to get into was just the actors and actresses, their announcements on their pages. So if we go to Joseph Quinn right here, he just put his post. He said, you can't really scroll. He said, fantastic. Let's see. What else did Ebon actually posted about it? Let me back this up a little bit. He said, "Oh, I can't scroll." Oh, wow, that is really a doozy. But basically, they all posted about it. Ebon posted, Vanessa Kirby, Pedro Pascal. And yeah, guys, that's pretty much what I really wanted to get into. I just basically my thoughts on the casting and what they're going to end up doing. There's been reports that Vanessa Kirby, sue that she's gonna be the main lead, and I think that that's a fresh take for the live action, versions of the MCU, or excuse me, of the Fantastic Four, where Reed Richards is always the main lead, like in the 2015 version, the 2005 version, and then I don't know which one was it in the 90s. I think they had the Fantastic Four. Um, so Pedro Pascal, a lot of people online are, when I say a lot of people, I've seen posts of people not too happy because they want John Krasinski. Me personally, John Krasinski, great actor, he's hilarious as Jim. But if I had to pick between John Krasinski and Pedro Pascal, I'm going with Pedro Pascal any day of the week. Vanessa Kirby, I think I've seen some of her movies and she's a wonderful actress, beautiful, beautiful gal. She has Bike Riders coming up later this year. She was just in Mission Impossible with Tom Cruise, and obviously she's going to be Sue Storm. Joseph Quinn, Eddie Munson, which was a lot of fans' favorite character in that show in season 4. He's going to be in A Quiet Day. I don't know the title of the show of the movie. He's going to be in that with Lupita Nyong'o. The trailer came out the other day, and then Ebon Mosk. He was actually in a Daredevil. I think season 1. I forget his character's name. I I don't know. I forget. And he's in The Bear. If you haven't watched The Bear, it is a culinary show. It's a drama and it's a comedy apparently. Well, it's actually hilarious at times, but unintentionally hilarious. Well, intentionally hilarious, but they're not making jokes. He's cousin in that show, and he's wonderful. So, guys, if you're still watching me ramble about Fantastic Four, I would really appreciate y'all to give this video a like. It really helps us. It really helps our channel, helps our page, and all that good stuff. And I guess the last thing I wanted to ask y'all, what is your thoughts on the casting? Who are you most excited to be to see, excuse me. Let me know down below. I would really love to read y'all's comments. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much all I have for you tonight. As always, I am Chris. I'll catch y'all next time. Peace.